Hello.
Hello, Mr. J. Good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
Good, good, good. How was your weekend?
Oh, thank God. It was okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And yours?
Yeah, it was busy. All the weekends just go by like anything, There's
I
so much what to
understand.
do, grocery and this and that and whatnot.
Exactly. I, I I had to tell my wife to take me out of it. She's actually at the grocery shop right now shopping, and she was like, I was supposed to go with her, so that you just take me out. You know what? Just forgive me for this weekend and the next weekend. We can do shopping.
Convey my apologies to her, okay? Because of me, you are not coming with her.
No. It's because of me. I am actually the one trying to tamper with your weekend. So she
That's
has to she has to tell you she's grateful for you making me a better person. So
I'm so glad. I'm so thankful. Yeah.
yeah. We practiced yesterday, I and Shika.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
Very good. Very good. Very good. I think you know what you guys should do. Um, I don't know if how how your weekdays and her weekdays are, but wherever possible, whenever possible, even if for like 40 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time you guys get,
Yeah,
collaborate, because what happens is, when we collaborate, we learn so much from the other people, and other people learn
exactly.
from us, so that gives
Yeah,
us motivation as well.
exactly.
Right, and and SQL is all about practice, because
Yes.
see, the thing is, it's very easy to learn in terms of language, because it's like simple as like English, and of course you have to remember some keywords and some functions and things like that. And I wanted to tell this, to both of you, that nobody remembers everything, right? Even today, even now, I don't remember the keywords, right? I mean, the syntaxes and things like that. But as long
Yeah.
as I know how to achieve something, right, then I can
Hmm.
always Google it and do that. So given an example, like we learned like function, for example, the like operator, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know that this can be done through some operator, like, for example. But let's say I
Yeah.
forgot what are the different options in the like operator. Like I can give percentage, or I can give an underscore. Let's say I forgot that. Then very simple. I'll just Google it, Oracle like operator, and it will give me all the options, and I can use them. But if I don't
Yeah.
know how to do something or what to search, then I will not be able to do that, right?
Yeah. Well, you didn't teach us the order by function when you said we should bring out our results in alphabetical order. I
Oh,
googled
right,
it
right,
up, and that was where we saw it, and we were able to use it.
right. Okay. Oh, wow,
And
wow, wow.
and
That's good. That's
unfortunately
good.
for me, whenever you're teaching, I actually type my notes.
Oh, very good,
I
very
type
good.
my notes when you are teaching. That's why my microphone is on mute and I don't talk because I put do a lot of typing. So
Oh,
I think I didn't save, and I didn't save my notes, so I lost it because my system shut down on me. But she was very helpful. She was the one that was reminding me, oh, the like statements and this and that and that, and she was so helpful.
oh, very
And
good,
I was like,
very good,
oh, yeah, she was so helpful.
very good, very good, very good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
So let's
yes,
start the session. So I just got a message from Shika that she's running a little late, so she will be joining very soon. But we can start. And what
okay,
I'm also doing is I'm recording the session. Okay, so that
okay,
way we'll have the recording as well, if she wants to follow up. But in any case, I think we can start, right?
okay. I sent you my CV. Did you get it?
I did. So I got your CV,
Yeah.
and there are some things that we need to change in the CV, because here
Mm-hmm.
in US, especially in the technical side, the CV that we send is little in a different format. So I'm going to do
Yeah.
that. Okay, I'm going to change it that
Okay.
way, and and forward it to them. Okay, and
Okay.
so So let me tell you this: when you asked me on first time that you do you guys do placements and all, I told you no,
Yeah.
and the reason behind it is I do play. We get involved in placements. We help people. We help our students, to get placed. We help them during the interview. We help them even after the job, right? But
Okay.
why I said no is because a lot of times, people call and people say, oh, do you do placements? And I said no, I don't do placements, because when I tell them I do placements, then they come only for the placement. Okay, they don't come for
Oh.
learning. If you don't
Oh.
come for learning, if you come just for placement and you think that I'm going to do it, then how are you going to
Deliver on the job.
perform, right? You need to
Yeah.
learn first, right? If you know something, then I can always give you a backup, but it cannot be the
Oh.
other way around, right?
Oh. Okay.
That's why
Okay. I
I tell
get you.
people, no, no, I don't do placements. But when
Oh.
somebody says no, whether you do placement or not, we want to learn, then I say okay, then you learn, and then I'll do the placements, for you. I'll help you in the placements. Of course, it will be you who will be doing the most of the stuff. It will be you who will get selected, not me. So they will interview you, but I'm going to help you in that. You know.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I have a lot of different opportunities and openings that I come across. Even within a week, we got three data analyst positions. So and most of the positions that I get are from data based related. So I don't entertain the project side of it, but the technical side of it, like
Mhm.
Oracle ERP, Oracle CRM, Oracle Financials, SQL, Microsoft SQL Server data analyst, senior data analysts, big data, all those kinds of. So
Yeah.
just last week itself, we got three different openings. So I have your CV, and we'll work on it.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
We'll talk. We'll definitely have talk business. I have three offices in my country, Nigeria, and I want to start up a training school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to start up a training school, and I would want to get you clients
Mm-hmm.
that you can train.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to set up the logistics, and we will have to discuss the logistics.
Sure, sure. Let's do that.
So
Let's do that. Yeah.
yeah, so because I have the space, and I think a lot of my space is actually wasting. um I actually have a I have a call center business in Nigeria, and
Oh,
we'd also offer customer service operations also, but a lot of my space is wasting. So I decided, as I like, this is actually an opportunity to actually add up training to what I do. And since you are an expert in the field of training,
mm-hmm.
we should be able to partner.
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm always open to new ideas, and
Yeah,
as I said, this is my passion. I love doing this. I love training
I
people, and
see.
if
Yeah.
knowledge is all about sharing. So if I could
Yeah.
share, and somebody can succeed, that's what I love doing it.
God bless you. God bless you, my brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Okay, so I think Shikha just joined. So let's start.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Shikha,
Yeah,
are you
hi,
there? Can
I'm
you hear
sorry, I
me?
was just got late.
Shika, you welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, Shikha is here. All right. So let's
Yeah,
start.
hi.
Yeah. So last time we ended up to here, where we learned where clause. We learned different operators in the where clause, like equal to, not equal to, in, between, and also like. In like, we have two different options: percent option and the underscore option. Then we also had is null or is not null option operator, and that works only with the nulls. Then we learned about and or, and the rules of precedence. As I mentioned earlier in the last class, that rules of precedence, I don't generally give too much focus on rule of precedence, because as long as I know what results I want to get, I will always use the parenthesis, and based on the parenthesis I will get my result. So I don't care with the rule of precedence whether and will run first or will run first. If I know what I want, I will put the parenthesis irrespective, right? So that's what we learned, guys. If you haven't finished the practice, I would say please practice. Please complete your practice. If you get stuck on anything, I am here. I will always help you guys with whatever questions that you get stuck to. Just keep a note of it, and we will do them together. All right. So let's move on to the next one. And Emmanuel just mentioned that there was one question where I may have said arrange something in ascending order or descending order, and we didn't learn the how to do that. So in order to do that, you could have skipped that for now, because that was like the whole day to practice. But here it is. So what happens is, when we are querying in Oracle, right, the order of rows that SQL returns, right, in a query is undefined. So with undefined meaning, let's say I want to run a query where I want to say I want to fetch all the names of my employees. Now, how are they going to be arranged in the result set? Whether A will, all the names that starts with A, or in alphabetical order will come first, or Z will come first, starting from Z, or maybe random, something like that. I don't know, right? So in SQL, what happens is, it is undefined. When you run a query one time, you may see that one of the result, like it's in alphabetical order. When you run it second time, you may see that it's in a random order. When you run it third time, you may see that some other name have come up first. So it's undefined. What SQL does is, it takes the best approach, so that bring the result as fast as it can. And because of that, the sorting is undefined. Because at the end of the day, right, you are going to querying thousands and millions of records. Okay, thousands and million, out of thousands and millions of records, you are going to be querying something, right? So for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to Costco, and you go and you want to return something in Costco, right? You go and you stand up in a line, and then they say, oh, this is the product. Okay, they come and then they scan the product. When they scan the product, and let's say you don't have a receipt or anything, it's a very old product, like 3 months 6 months old product. Then they go to another computer, and then they search for that product. Why do they go to another computer and search for that product? Have you ever noticed it, that they go to another computer and then they search for that product, and then they note something, and then they come back? So what they are doing is, because of the number of transactions, they keep the systems separately. So whatever number of transactions that may have happened 3 months back, they move it to a data warehouse system. Okay, they make it as a data warehouse system, where they keep lot of transactions, 5-year history or 10-year history probably, and they keep it on that system. And the current OLTP transactions, which are called online transaction processes, OLTP systems, they keep it separately, so that they make it faster. So that when somebody when they are scanning the product in the cashier line, they scan the product and the product price and everything comes on the screen right away, and then you are able to pay, right? If they are going to look for that product in that millions of transactions, that records that may have happened since the Oracle has since the Costco was open, they are going to get lost, right? And it's going to take so much time. So that's why they keep it separate. So but still, this 1 month or 3 months of transaction, whatever they are having, just think how much transactions they are having. Because you can go to California or Costco, and then you can return the item somewhere in Virginia, and it's going to pick up, it's going to show up, right? So that much transactions are also very high volume transaction. So that's why, what SQL does is, it gives a random, when you are querying, it gives a random orders of records, so that it doesn't waste time, right? But if you want to do it, if you want to have a record in a certain order, then you have to manually specify what kind of an order you would like, right? At that point of time, you will use the clause called order by. And these are two different words. Okay, these are two different words: order, and then there's a space, and then there's a by. Order by, it's very simple. It's like in English, right? So select, then you are saying what columns you want. Select columns, of course, a comma separated. Then you will say from which table you want to have these columns. So from, and then you say, you give the condition, where where I don't want so I want only a particular job ID, or I want only a particular name or whatever. So you give a where condition, and then the last clause is order by clause. And order by clause is always going to be the last clause, whatever number of clause that you use, but order by is always going to be the last clause. That's it in a SQL statement. There cannot be any other clause after order by clause, right? Now we learned three clauses, four clauses: select, from, where, and order by. There is one more, which is the last one, which I'm going to teach later. But right now there are four. Order by is always going to be the last. So the another one which is still left is going to come in between, but order by is always going to be the last one, right? So here in this slide you can see what I'm trying here is I am trying to order by, or basically I want the name of all my employees and their job IDs in the order of their hire date, right? In the order of their hire date. So what I'm doing is I'm saying select last name, comma, job ID, comma, department ID, comma, hire date from employees. And I'm not putting any where clause because I want everybody. So I'm not putting where clause, order by, and I'm saying order by hire date. So when I'm saying order by hire date, what it's going to do is it's going to order the result set. Okay. So what SQL does is it pulls the result set. Okay. It pulls the result set. It puts that result set into a memory. Okay. Into a temporary memory. And then on top of that, it does the sorting. Okay, it does the sorting. So it's a time consuming process, but it does it. Okay, it does the sorting, and what it does is after that it says order by. It looks at the order by clause, and because here I have mentioned hire date, so it sorts them in the order of hire date. Now the question is how is it going to do the hire date sorting, whether the first date first or the last date first. So yes, the dates are always sorted in the earliest first. Okay, unless I specify I manually specify that I don't want it that way, I want the latest first. Okay, so it has two different options in order by. One is ASC, which is in ascending order, and the other one is DESC, which is a descending order. By default is ascending, ASC. So if I do not give anything, by default it takes the ascending order, right? So if I'm not specifying ASC, that means it's an ascending order, right? So numeric values, right now it's a hire date. Hire date is a date data type. But let's say if I have a numeric data type, for example for example department ID or employee name, employee number, there those are number, right? So if I have a numeric value, numeric values are displayed with the lowest value first. If I am not saying anything ascending or descending, right? So it is displayed with the lowest value first. Date values are displayed with the earliest value first. Character values are displayed in the alphabetical order if I did not mention ascending or descending, as long as I have a order by. Character values are displayed in alphabetical order. Now let's say if I want to reverse this, then what do? Is I do order by hire underscore date, DESC. That's it, DESC, right? I put a DESC keyword. You can also use a column alias in the order by clause. So we learned column alias, right? For example, for the expressions, we put a new column name, or as for a column also we can give a column name. Sometimes we can do as, or we, that's an optional. So sometimes we don't give as, we just give a space and give a column alias. So you can use a column alias also here. We are going to learn that. I'm going to show you how that works. So we can do the column alias also. We can also sort by the numeric position of the column. Okay, so let's say if I want to sort it by department underscore ID, I'm going to say order by 3. Why order by 3? Because that's the third column in my select clause. third column. So we can do it that way also. And we can also sort by multiple clauses. We can also sort by multiple clauses. So this is all, let's do it. Okay, so these are all three slides which we have already covered. So let's try to do them. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, and let me open this here. Okay, I think it's not, um, I have to share my whole screen. Okay, now it should be good. All right, let's do this. Okay, all right. Where is, okay, right. So here I have, let's delete this. I think I have to sign in again because it was, yeah, I have to sign in again. Okay. So you guys can see my screen, right? You can see Oracle Live SQL here.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's run this. Okay, so I'm going to run this. Okay, and let's see how it orders by. Oops. Oh, you know what? Because the session just started, so I have to re submit the script. Here it is done. Script is done. Let's copy this again. Okay, and then run it. Okay, let's do this. That's it. It's done. So you can see that it's ordered by higher date. So 87, then after 87, 89, 90, 91, 93. So because I did not give ascending or descending, by default it took the ascending, right? Now let's say I want it the other way. So I want 94 or whatever, 97 first, and then 87, right, in that way. So let's do that. Let's put DESC. Okay, let's put DESC and run this. See, now 00, so 2000 came first. So we had a lot of different records. So 2098, and it says 1 of 50 more rows exist. So there are a lot of different rows that still exist, right? So but it's pulling only 50. I think it's more than enough for me. So it what it does is uh, it sorted it by the descending order of the higher date, right? This is how we do it. Now let's say what I can also do is, let's say I want to order it by let's say now last name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say last underscore name, right? And I run it, and see, it ordered by the last name, right? But what I can also do is I can also say 1. Why? Because this is the first position in my select clause. Okay, as soon as I do that and I run it, it will still do it the same way. If I do it, let's say 2, then it should do it by the job ID. Let's do it, and that's it. It's done by the job ID. So it's take by the order by of the by the position of your columns in the select clause. Also, what it I can do is, for example, higher date. Let's say I want to change this as start date. Okay, I want to give an alias to higher date as a start date. So I did a start date, and now let's say I just say start date. Right now, start date, there is no column like start date. The column is a higher underscore date, but I gave an alias as start date. Now let's see whether it gives me it still sorts, and yes, it does sort. It took alias also as my order by, right? So it took alias also as the order by clause. All right, so, and yes, and let's say what I want is, I want to sort by last name, right? I want to sort by last name, so that in alphabetical order, so that all those names that starts with A should come first. But let's say if the same name is repeated, or for example, let's say we do the sorting by job ID. So now I can see that I have IT underscore prog repeated 2 times here, right? IT underscore prog is repeated 2 times. So what I'm doing is I am doing it by job underscore ID, which is 2, right? I'm doing it by 2, And what I can see is, sorry, here I can see this fi underscore account is repeated how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Is repeated. But here I can see that C, F, P, S, and then U. So this is sorted by, after this it is sorted by the last name, right? But let's say I want to sort by the date. I want to sort by the date. After job ID, I want to sort by the date. So for what I meant is that I want a result set in such a way there where all my job ID should be in the alphabetical order, followed by the hire date or the start date. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say comma, okay, and I can either do the numerical position or I can just say start date or a higher underscore date, whatever. Okay, and that's it. And then I run it with a comma. Okay, I put a comma there, and as soon as when I did that, you can see that all my fi underscore account which are repeated here, you can see that it has been sorted by the start date, right? So this covers our day 2 tutorial, which is here. It covers our day 2 tutorial, and we completed this. And you can see this, we already did this one, but I'm just going to show you one more time here how we did this. This is nothing but the expression here, multiplying salary by 12, so that annual salary, and we are saying order by n cells, which is order by the alias. And let's see, and it worked, right? Okay, so we already did this, all of this sorting by multiple columns, and we also did by numerical position. So this covers our second day of tutorial. Now quiz. Can you guys tell me which of the following are valid operators for the where clause? You can turn on your mic. Which of the following are valid operators for the where clause?
First,
Mm-hmm.
fourth,
Okay.
and sixth.
Okay. Emmanuel, what's your take on this?
Mm, I think the first one, the second one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one. I don't trust the third one.
Oh, you don't see the third one. Okay. So accept
I don't
third
trust the
all.
third. Yeah.
Okay. So the answer is you both of you are wrong. The answer is first is right, second is right, third is right, and then the sixth is right. So the two which are wrong are 4 and 5.
Okay,
Okay.
just like, not is like. We use
Yes.
just like, not is like, right?
It's just like, not is like, because we have
Yeah, yeah.
only is null or is not null. Okay. So that's why this is wrong.
Okay.
Then we have in. In is a separate operator and between is a separate operator. It cannot be combined together. Okay,
Okay.
because between has two ranges, lower range and upper range, and in has set of options. Do you remember that? So in and
Yeah.
between are two different operators. So that's why these two are wrong. Now the third one. Why third one is correct? Because as I mentioned earlier, not equal to. We can
Equal
write
to.
not equal to in two ways. Okay. Let me show you here. Let me show
Oh
you.
yeah, I remember when we use the percentage signs and stuff
Yes.
like
So
that, right?
this is a not equal to operator. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we can write not equal to like this also. Do you remember I in the first class or in the second class, I with the highlighter I even wrote that. Okay, I wrote it like this, like this. This is also not equal to. It is similar to this. Okay, we can use both. Any of these is fine. All right. Let's
Yeah.
move on to the
Yeah.
let's move on to the next one. Okay, day 3. Now let's start the day 3. Now guys, day 3 is very important topic because now we are going to be learning some functions. Without functions, functions are the core of SQL. Okay, with functions we can do anything. Basically, anything we can do in SQL. Okay, because functions make SQL language very very powerful. Okay, so we are going to learn these functions, and I would say as much as possible, at least remember the names of the functions. Okay, if you cannot remember the syntax, it is absolutely fine. Okay, even for interviews, you can, if somebody asks you, okay, what does this function do, you can say this function does this. If they tell you, okay, what is the syntax of this, you can always say, I don't remember the syntax because I google them. But as long as you know what function does and when to use those functions, that's the most important thing. Okay, so SQL functions are very powerful feature of SQL functions here, like in this, you can see they take arguments and always return a value, and that is the beauty of any function that you go. Okay, irrespective of whether they are SQL functions or whether they are any other language, there is a difference. Nobody is going to tell you this. Okay, I am telling you, and this is an interview question. Okay, what is the difference between a function and a procedure? Okay, we don't have procedures in SQL language, because SQL is a structured query language. It is not a programming language. That's why we don't have it. But even then, they may ask you, what is the difference between a function and a procedure? The difference between the function and a procedure is, function always returns a value and procedure may or may not return a value, depending on how you wrote the procedure. If you have wrote the procedure in such a way that it should return a value, then it will return a value. But if you wrote a procedure in a way that it does not require to return a value, then it will not return a value. But function will always return a value. Okay, so here also you can see that we have input is the arguments, and it can be many inputs or one input, depending on what type of a function it is. You can see that argument 1 is going and 2 is going, and n is going to a function, and function performs an action, and then it gives you a output. It gives you a result and result value. So this is the basic nature of function, right? Now let's move to the next one. How many different types of functions we have in SQL? We have only two different types of functions. One is a single row function and the other one is a multiple row function. Single row functions, these functions operate on single rows only and return one result per row. Okay, so that means, let's say if I'm querying something and I'm using a function and that query is returning 5 rows. Okay, so these functions will do their whatever action I'm asking. Guys, please mute yourself. This will do whatever functions, and then it will return 5 rows, right? That's the single row function. Multiple row functions, what they do is they manipulate group of rows to give one result per group, okay, of rows. So it can take multiple rows and then it will return only one row. Okay, it can take multiple row and it will return only one row. So those are the two different type of functions, and we will learn each of them, and you will understand more. Okay, let's move on. So now we have different types of functions. So first is case conversion functions. Okay, case conversion functions are only three type of case conversion functions. One is lower, then the other one is upper, and then the third one is init cap. It doesn't matter whether you are writing them as up in uppercase, they are case insensitive. So whether you are writing them in uppercase, lowercase, one letter uppercase, all the other lowercase, doesn't matter, because SQL is not case sensitive, right? But these functions, what they do is they give you result in a they perform the action and they give you result in the way that these functions are supposed to be giving you the result, the answer. So what lower function does? So lower function, what it does is, it whenever anything is passed to the lower function, and it takes only one argument. Okay, only one argument. Here you can see it passes only one argument, SQL and space course, and this, because it's a character, I have put this in the single quotes. Lower single quotes SQL space course, and the functions are always defined under the parenthesis. Always defined under the parenthesis. So SQL space course, and what it does is it gives me in the lower case. So it converts mixed case or uppercase character strings to lowercase. It doesn't matter what kind of it doesn't even look what kind of a character string that you have given, whether it's a uppercase or it's a mixed case. It just converts it into lowercase. Similarly, upper function converts mixed case or lowercase character strings to uppercase. Now the init cap. Init cap is also called as sentence case, because what it does is it converts the first letter of each word to uppercase and the remaining letters to lowercase. It is also called sentence case. Right, now let's see how it works. Okay, so let's take this as an example. Okay, and we are going to run this in the SQL. So what it's doing is it's going to I'm trying to query all the employees from the employees table where last name is Higgins. Okay, let's see if somebody has a Higgins last name. Okay, and I see no data found. There is no Higgins. Now this query is wrong because I know Higgins exists. Okay, why this query is wrong? Because Higgins is stored as H in uppercase. I think we can find out. Okay, I think H is in uppercase. So let's do one thing. Let's comment it out. This is the way how we comment it out. Okay, two dashes, and it gets commented out, and then I put a semicolon here, and then we run it. Okay, and then we can see if I could find Higgins here. Even if I don't find Higgins, I can see that the first letter is always capital. Right, now what I'm doing is, let's see if Higgins even exists or not. So let's say H capital, and if I run this, Higgins does exist. The only problem is Higgins is H capital. And why? Even though this everything is case insensitive, but as I mentioned, whenever you put something in where clause as a search string, this in the quotes, this always becomes case sensitive. Always becomes case sensitive. So whatever you give here, it will take as is. It's going to find out, search for this particular name as is. So what we did is we did like this, right? Higgins, and it was giving us no result found. Now there is a way of doing this, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to say lower, and then I run this. Okay, as soon as I do that, it pulls the record. So what it's doing here, okay, what it's doing here, it's doing lower of last underscore name column. So all the values in the last underscore name, it is first converting them into the lowercase and then trying to match this with the Higgins name. And as soon as it does that, it found the name here. Right, got it? Okay, now a quick question for both of you. You can unmute your mic. The question is, let's say I don't remember whether it is H capital, whether it is lowercase, whether everything is uppercase, or maybe G is just uppercase, right? Something like that. I don't remember, right? So then what do I do? Okay, I'll give you an example. Come again.
Indicate the third clause, I don't remember the name of it.
Okay.
Lower, upper, and the third one.
Init cap, no. See, this will also work. Okay, init cap is not required. This will also work because it doesn't matter whether H is capital, G is capital, or whatever is capital, right? This should work. If I'm saying lower, so it's converting last name, which is Higgins, it's converting this to lower, right? Now let's say I have typed it this wrong way, okay, where G is capital. Now because it is converting last name into lower, it will definitely not match this one because G is capital, right? It's going to give me no data found. See, now what I can also do is, I don't care, I just give lower here as well. I mean, that's it.
Wait, go. आपने dryer on नहीं किया?
Okay, you got it? Okay, now let's move on to the next one, and we are going to use this when we are going to do this where clause with other tables, when we are going to use the conditions with other tables, we are going to use this. We often use this with the other tables as well, right? So with the other columns and things like that. Let's say, for example, if I had another like manager name also here, and I want to see uh, uh, where my name is matches with the manager name, for example, then I will do this lower here also and here also. Then I will always get the result, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. So we learned this. Now the other function is the character manipulation function. Okay, now you guys need to remember these. Okay, you guys need to remember all of these functions. I didn't mention the init cap. Let's see the init cap also before we move further. Okay, so let's do this. Let's find it. Let's do this simple, and let's add the job underscore id also here. Okay, and then let's run this, and we'll see ac underscore mgr is in uppercase. It's stored in uppercase in the database. Okay, so let's change this to init cap. Okay, let's change this to init cap. Guys, please mute yourself, and then you run this and see it change to init cap ac underscore mgr. Now you must have noticed that as soon as underscore arrived, the m is also uppercase. Okay, because this is a sentence, so every time there is another grammar grammar there, like full stop, comma, or whatever, then it makes that the other one, the next character, as uppercase. Okay, so this is how it does it. Let's say I change, let's say I want to change the last name to uppercase. Okay, upper. Okay, and I change this and I run this, and then it changed to upper. Got it? All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now we have character manipulation functions. So character manipulation functions, we have all these different kind of character manipulation functions. Of course, you don't have to remember the syntax of all of these, but you must remember the name of the functions and what they do. Concat. Okay, who can tell me that what I showed the concat in previous slides as well? What is the concat in terms of the symbol?
Double slash.
That is right.
Double bars.
That is right. So that is also double is also going to concat. So for example, let's say I concated here. Okay, and as soon as I do it, what it does is it 205 Higgins, right? Now I can also use a concat function here. Okay, don't get confused with this, that I'm using function and then another function. So let's remove this function there. Okay, I don't want you guys to get confused with that. See, same thing, right? It does the same thing. Then what is the difference? Difference is or as a matter of fact, nobody uses the concat function because it has a disadvantage. The disadvantage of concat function is it only takes two arguments, first argument and second argument. Let's say if I want to join department ID as well, then what do? I cannot say like this, comma department ID, because it doesn't allow me. It takes only two arguments. If I want to join three columns, it will not allow me. So what I do is I use the concat symbol instead. In concat symbol, there is no restriction like that. Okay, I can use as many concat strings as I want. I don't care. See, right? So I can do as many as. But what I can also do is I can also do like this. So these are just different ways of doing it. It's up to you. It's your choice how you want to do it. But these are just different ways. I can do like this also. Right? I converted first, combined together with concat function, and then with the merge with the concat symbol. Okay. All right. Let's move to the second one. So concat. So this is what concat does. Okay. So concat joins values together. And again, you are restricted by just the two arguments. What is sub str? Sub str, the full form of sub str is substring. So just by the name you can figure it out that it shortens the string, substring. So it shortens the whole string, whatever string that you are passing, it will shorten it for you. So when you are saying sub str, it extracts a string of determined length. So I give the length. Okay. So what I do is, let's say I want to run this sub str hello world 1,5. Okay. So let's say I do it here. Okay. I don't know if I cannot copy it here, but let's say sub str, and then I say hello world, and then I say 1,5. Okay. And then I run it. Okay, what it does is it gives me hello, right? It gives me hello. Why it gives me hello here is because it going to shorten the string, and it going to extract the string, only that much string that I have asked it to extract. So the first argument is the string itself. The second argument is the position. Okay, it's the position from where I want the string to be extracted. So I want the string to be extracted from the first letter, so that's why it's 1, and up to where, up to 5 letters. So 1 2 3 4 and 5, and that's it. Now let's change to 3,5. Okay, now it's going to pull only 2 characters starting from 3. I mean, sorry, 5 characters starting from 3. So starting from 3, 1 2 3, so it starts from 3, and 5 characters from 3, right? Keep on, if I keep on doing it like 5, so then it will start from 5, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So it will start from O and will go to the next 5. Okay, all right. So now the next one we have is length column. Okay, length, length column, and all it does is like this. Okay, this is very simple. It gives you the length of the string. That's it. It gives you the length of the string. This is very simple, right? It's a plain English type of function, and it doesn't take any other argument, just the string itself, and it gives you the length. The third one is instr, which is in string. Okay, what it does, it finds the numeric position of a named character. So it finds out in this string, which is a hello world, in this string where is character w, on what position is character w. Okay, so I am going to do it here. I'm saying instr, and then I say comma w. Okay, and I run this, and it gives me the position, which is a 6th position. So on the 6th position I have w. Similarly, I have lpad and rpad. Lpad is returns an expression left padded to the length of n characters. Okay, so what it does is basically, like, let's say here they have used the column, but let's say I'm going to be using lpad. Okay, and I am doing it for some number. Usually we use it for the number. It doesn't matter, you can do it for characters also, but usually we do it for the number. So let's say I have a 800 number here, and I am saying let's say I am saying for up to 10 digits I want it, and I want to replace it with let's say with question mark, whatever. Okay, and I'm going to run it. Okay, so what it does is it's going to make this 800 length to 10 characters. Okay, because that's what I've given, 10 characters, and whatever the remaining characters, it's going to put the one that I have given. So you must have noticed in the bank account numbers and bank checks, right? You must have noticed that they have a lot of 0000 in the front, and then their exact account number or check number then starts, right? So what they do is, why they do that, they do it because they, when they start their checks or their banking operation, they don't know how many customers are going to be there, how many accounts they will open, right? So they take, let's say they give like up to 10 uh, uh, characters we can have an account number, but let's start with 1. Okay, so I am starting my bank today, and the first customer whoever is going to be coming, I am giving the account number as 1. But I have to plan about future also. Let's say today I have just one customer, but down the line 10 years from now I may have 2 million, or let's say 1 trillion customers. Then whatever number of accounts that are there, I should be able to put those account numbers in in my check orders, right? So I take that into consideration. So what I do is, I, let's say I am giving my first check, I am giving my first check, and I'm saying 1 to my check number or my account number, whatever. And but I am considering for the future planning, I am putting 10 as the maximum, and whatever number that are remaining, it should automatically left pad it to 0, okay, with 0. So see, it's done that, right? Left pad to 0. Now let's say after 5 days I got up to 25 accounts. I opened up to 25 accounts. So then I'll just say 25, okay, and then I run it, and then it automatically does 0 0 as the preceding 0. We also call it left padded as preceding 0, right? That's the left padded. So that's where mostly we use in banking financial operations, and accounting, whenever we are showing the accounting string or something. So that's where we use it, right? For rpad, it's the opposite. It does the right padding, okay, in at the end. So first it starts with the number, and then it puts that many number of zeros or stars or question mark, whatever you give. Yeah, so it will put that in the end. When do we use it, rpad? We don't use it that often unless there is a need for it, especially for the accounting or the banking operations. We don't put, because we don't want that many number of zeros to be added, right? So mostly we don't do it. I don't remember when. Maybe we may have used it somewhere, but very rarely. So let's say next one is replace. Okay, this one is good. What we do is, it replaces the character, the second character. So the first argument is of course the string. The second is the is the character that we want to replace, and the third is the character that we want to replace it with. Okay, so we can see Jack and Jew, okay, which is a string, gets, in that string J is replaced with BL. Okay, so that's why it becomes black and blue. Okay, now the last one is trim. What trim does is, it removes the, it trims the leading or trailing character. Okay, not just one, but the leading or trailing characters or both from a character string. Okay, so let's say I have trim here. Okay, and let's say I type hello world, and then H. Okay, both. I have H both in the, as the first letter as well as the last one. Okay, in the both. And then I say here, okay, the string, the syntax is little different. Okay, so if you don't remember it, no need to worry. You can always Google it, because this one is different than the other strings, other syntaxes, right? So it says trim H from hello world H. Okay, and let's see what it does. Okay, you can see that it trims the H from the upper and from the end. Let's say if I have H here also in between, let's see what it does. See, it doesn't trim the H from the between, from the middle, or from anywhere else. So let's say I have 2H in the front, okay, as a mistyped or whatever. So you can see that it removed 2H from the first characters. It will always remove, but as soon as you have somewhere in between, then it will not remove. You can see that it did not remove, right? That was the trim. That's what the trim does, right? So that's what the trim does. So now we have learned this. Now the question here is, when do we use these functions? We do not only on the strings, but we use it from the columns also. Okay, so what we does is, for, let's say I want to let's say we say last underscore name, comma. Okay, let's do this. Let's comment this out for now, and let's remove the where clause also. Okay, and then let's run this. Okay, let's see what we get. So we get king, coach, or whatever, right? So let's say I want to trim k, okay, from last underscore name. So what it does is king, okay, and k is capital, is in uppercase. That's why I did not trimmed it. So I have to k, put it as uppercase, and you can see that it trimmed k from the column. And of course I can give a different column name as an alias, right? So I not only just the string, but I can use it in a column name also. Now let's do it same thing for replace. Okay, so let's say I do replace, and I'm using the same column, last underscore name, comma, and I want to replace, let's say wherever I have I, okay, wherever I have I want to replace it with let's say star. Okay, wherever I have I want to replace it with star, and I can put as many. Let's say I put in, okay, and I want to replace it with star. So as soon as I do that, king is replaced with k star g. Okay, so I can do that as well. Similarly for lpad rpad, I can use the column names. For length, I can do the column name and all that, right? For substring also I can do the column names. For example, I want to do sub str on last underscore name, and I want to change, I want to, let's say, start from um, 1 and up to 3 only. Okay, so substring, so it's going to shorten the string, right? Substring. So last name, okay, so it's going to pick the last name. So like for example king, and starting from the first character, it's going to give me the up to 3 characters. Okay, so it's giving me up to 3 characters, which is only 3, right? So that's what it does. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. So I have this, okay, and it does all everything whatever we have just seen so far. Okay, so this query, what does this query does? It says select employee id, it selects the employee id, then concat, okay, use the concat first name comma last name, and it is given an alias. So it shows the alias as name, and it concats Peter Tucker, David Worston, Peter Hall, right? And then it says job underscore ID, and then length of last underscore name. What is the length of last underscore name? So it's give the length of last underscore name. Then after that it says in string, which is instr, and it finds out where is a in last underscore name. What position is the a in last underscore name? So in this Tucker there is no a at all, so that's why it does not give the position, it gives the position as 0. Similarly in Bunstein there is no a, so it gives 0. In Peter Hall there is, it's the second one after h, so that's why it's giving me 2, and so on. Now there is a problem with this. The problem is when I'm typing the name, I don't want my first name and last name to be mixed together. I want a space. But with concat, I cannot give a space. The reason is it does not allow me to give a space as a third argument. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this, okay? And instead of the concat, I'm going to use the concat string, I mean concat operator, and then I'm going to give like this space, and then I'm going to concat it again with the last name, okay? And then I'm giving this as an alias, okay? And then I'm going to run it. See here, it's giving me Peter space Tucker. Okay, that's what the beauty of SQL is. All right, let's move to the next one. Okay, the next one is number functions. Okay, now we may have in SQL, we have lot of different mathematical functions also, like all the trigonometrical functions and the statistical functions, and all those nobody remembers them because those are not very often used. If you have a need of it, for example finding the standard deviation, then you can Google it, like how to find standard deviation in SQL, and it can give you like stddev or whatever, right? And it will give you that. As long as you know how to use it, and if there is a function exists like that, you should be able to do that. Okay, nobody expects you to remember all of the functions, especially the mathematical functions, but these common functions everybody expects you to remember them. Of course the syntax you can forget, that's not a big deal. Okay, now The next is the number function. Number functions accepts numeric input and returns numeric value. So it accepts numeric and it returns numeric. Okay. Now we have round, trunc, and mod. So what does round does? Round, it rounds the column or the expression, whatever you give, rounds the column or expression or value to n decimal places. Of course, I have to specify the next argument, which is n. Okay, n decimal places. If I do not give n, then it will round to the left of a decimal point. Okay, and we will see how that works. Okay, if I don't give, so right now I'm giving 2, so that's why it's rounding it to 2. So it's after 45.926. Now because it's a 6, it's more than, as long as it is more than 4, which is more than half, it's always going to round it to the next digit. So that's why it's making it to 45.93. What does trunc does? Trunc truncates the column expression or value to the n decimal places, because here the n decimal place is 2 and the third one is 6. I don't care what the third one is. Okay, even if it is 7, 8, 3, 2, I don't care. As long as it is trunc, it is always going to trim it. Okay, it's always going to truncate it. It's always going to give me 4.92 up to 2 decimal places. Now mod. What is a mod functions? And believe me, I haven't used mod at all in my 20 years of career. Mod returns the remainder of m divided by n. Okay, so what is m? M is 1600 here, divided by n. N is 300. So mod gives me the remainder of 1600 divided by 3. Okay, why I don't use it? Because I can use the mathematical operation right there, right? I have a division there. I can use the division, so I don't need to do that, right? But the division will not give me the remainder. The division will give me the quotient. In order to do the remainder, I again have to use another mathematical operator, or I can use the mod function. But I haven't done anything in my career where I could have used the mod. Of course, if you are doing something in banking, or where you need to bring something for the remainder, you have to use this mod function. All right. So right, let's try to run some of these, okay, and see how it behaves. I think I have a screen here in the next one. Okay, so I'm showing how these functions will behave. Okay. All right. Okay, now before I run this, there are two very important concepts hidden in this statement. Okay, two very important concept hidden. One, table dual. I haven't created any table like dual. I don't even know where this dual came from. Okay, I have no idea. In my schema, I do not have dual table at all. If you can see in my schema, I don't even have a dual table. I just have 3 tables. I don't have a dual table. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so if I'm going to run this dual, of course it should give me an error, right? But let's see whether it gives me an error or not. It did not copy it, so let's copy it again. Okay, so I don't know, right? That's one. So we're going to learn what dual is. And then the second is round of -1. That looks strange. Why I have -1? It should be 1, or it should be 2, right? It should be 1 or it should be 2. Now let's do with 2 and then we'll see what happens later. Okay, so I'm doing round of 45.923. Now remember, this is 3. This is not 5. Now because this is 3, it is less than the half, which is 5 after 2. So that's why it's rounding it to 45.92. So it's reducing it, 45.92. The second one I have is 45.923 comma 0. Okay, 0. As soon as I'm saying 0, it's not even going to the next decimal place. Okay, it's coming here to 45. And because 5 is more than 5 is half. Okay, half or more than half, it's going to make it next number. So it's going to make it 46. Similarly, 45.923, this we have already seen. Okay, now let's change this to, okay, let's change, let's keep it 2 and let's make this as 5. Okay, and this one let's change this to, let's say, 1, and round off this to, let's say, -1. Okay, can you guys tell me what result I'm going to get here? Okay, let me tell you. So this one will give me two decimal places, which is 45.925. Now I have 5 here. After two decimal places, I have 5. Now because I have 5, which is half or more than half of the after the two decimal, so that's why it's going to give me 45.93. Okay, 45.93 for this one. For this one, it's going to look only one digit after the decimal place, because I have given 1, and definitely zero point 0.9 is of course more than half, so it's going to make it 46. Okay, because it will increase this by 1, which will make it 10, so of course it will increase by 46. Now what is -1 going to do? Okay, what is -1 going to do? Let's see this. Okay, because this is an interesting concept. Let's see what it does. Oh, it says, oops, because I selected the wrong one. Okay, here you go. Right, what it does is 45.93. As I said, the first one is 45.9. 45.9. It did not change it to 46. Now that's interesting. It should have changed it to 46. Okay, let's make this to 40. Okay, I have to see why it did not do that. Okay, so we'll come back on this. Okay, let's remove it so that you guys don't get confused, but I'm going to come back why it did not make it 45.9, 46. Okay, let's do this. But why it made -1? What it did with -1? Okay, why did it make it 50? Okay, what it did was, when I said -1, it went back from the decimal place. Okay, and because I said -1, it went to 5. It looked at 5 and it said, okay, 5. Okay, so the first one I have to make it to the next decimal, to the next number. So if the second argument is -1, the value is truncated to one decimal uh, value, one decimal place to the left. So basically it is rounded to one decimal place to the left. So this one is rounded to 50 because it was 45. Had it been 43, then it would be 40. Because it was 45, which is more than or equal to 5, which is half, that's why it is doing 50. Right, so that's what it does. If it was -2, then let's see what happens. It made it 0. Why? Because now it is looking to two decimal places or to the left after decimal. So 1 and 2. And because this is 4, which is less than half, so that's why it's making it 0, because it's deducting it. Let's say I make it 55. As soon as I make it 55, it will make it 100. Okay, so that's how the round does. Now the question is, what is dual? What is the dual table? I did not create a dual table. I don't even know where the dual table came from. So dual table, it is the beauty of SQL. So dual table is owned by, there is a user, by the user sys, and this table is made available to be used by all the users everywhere on the in the SQL. So even if whether you have created this table or not created this table, this table already exists. Okay, and this table has only one column, which is a dummy column. So let's say if I change this to select star from dual, okay, and run it, you can see that this table has only one column, which is a dummy column, and the value is X. Okay, this is by default. In this table, there is only one column, which is a dummy column. The value is X. This is inbuilt column. You do not have to build this column. This is a hidden column. You don't see this column. It's not in your schema. But when you run this, you have the permission to run it, and you have the permission to take to see the rows of this column. Can you insert something in this column? No, you do not have permission. Can you update something in this column? No, you in this table, no, you cannot do that. The only permission you have in this for this table is to query this table, and it has only one column. Now why do they even give you this table? Why, what is the need? So the need is, the dual table is very useful when you want to return a value only once. So for example, the value of a constant, a pseudo column or expression, that is not derived from a table, like how we did it for the round. We did not derive it from any table, right? I just wanted to know what value it gives me, because for not everything I am going to use my tables, right? Sometimes I just want a constant. For example, I want to multiply something for or to all my columns, but this something should come from the dual table, based on my calculation by round or trunk or sys or whatever. So that's where I use the dual column table. So dual table is generally used for completeness of the select state clause syntax, because both select and from clauses are mandatory if I am doing any calculation, because this is very mandatory. Because after this, even where clause is optional, order by clause is optional, but if I don't use select, okay, if I don't give select, it's going to give me an error. Where is the select statement? If I give select, but if I don't give if I give select but if I don't give from, okay, then it's going to give me an error that the from clause is not exist does not exist. So these two are required. These two are required keywords. That's why they have given us dual table, that if you want to run something, just do some calculation, just find out what round does, find out what trunk does, or what the value would be for the trunk if I do this, comma 2, if I do comma 4, just find out what substring of something, some column or some expression is going to give me, just to do your calculation, so that you can put your logic there or make your own logic. That's why they have given us dual table. So it's very useful when you are doing your own development or your own analysis, and you want to find out what value it will give me if I do a dual on something. So for example, let's say I have a last name column, and I want to I don't know what substring of, okay, what substring does, for example. Okay, I don't remember what substring does for last name. Okay, if I say 1,1,5, so then it's very simple. All I will do is, from the employees table, for example. So it's very simple. If I want to find out, myself doing it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the dual table, and instead of last name, because I don't have a last name there, I can do some string. So for example, Ajay Maheshwari, and just see what result it gives me, right? So I can do quotes here, so it gives me the result here, Ajay, right? And of course it has a space because I have a 5 character there. All right, so that's what the that's what this does. Now the last one, no, now we just did the round, right? Now we'll do the trunk also. So let's see what trunk does. Okay, let's see what trunk does. Trunk is just, it's going to truncate. Okay, no matter what, it's just going to truncate. So what is truncating is, I'm saying trunk 45.923. So two decimal places, two. So two from the two decimal places, so three, which is the third one, it's going to truncate. So it's going to say, give me 45.92. Trunk of 45.923. What it's going to do is, I'm saying trunk, and I'm not giving any decimal place. Okay, I'm just leaving it as is. So as soon as I do that, it gives me 45, because it truncates all the decimal characters, and it gives me 45. Similarly, for trunk 45.923 minus 1. Okay, so it does trunk of 45.923 minus 1. It goes minus 1. It goes in left side. Okay, so it truncates 5, okay, and makes it 0. Whatever the next decimal place is, the lowest decimal place is, it's going to do that. So that's why it's going to make it 40. Okay, so that's what it does. Now let's see what should have been round on 45.923. Okay, if you see here, the round of 45.923 is 46. And the reason when I said 1 here, okay, if you remember, it did not give me 46, it gave me 45.9, is because it's going one decimal place from here. Okay, and because the one decimal place from here is 0.9, and then the second one is 2, that's why it did not make it 10. Had it been 5 here, okay, then see what happens, then it makes it 46. Okay, so that solves our question. The question that I was confused with, it says 45.953 and I said 1 there. So when I said 1, it looked at one decimal place, it looked at 0.9, and then the next digit was less than half, which was 2. So that's why what it did was it made it 45.9. Okay, but had it been 5, then it would have made it 46. Okay, which would be same as saying nothing here, which will make it 46 anyway. All right, so we use round, we use trunk. These are two very important functions. Round is very, very important, we use it all the time. Even for any financial reporting that you are going to do, you are always going to round it. Okay, any small cents or whatever, you are going to round them. So round is very important. Usually we do this round, but sometimes we also do minus comma 2. Okay, all right, now the next one is mod. Okay, now let's see the mod one. Okay, so here we have the mod one. Let's copy this and run it for the mod. Okay, now see here I'm doing for the employees table. Okay, why? Because mod, I'm just using the salary. I could have used any other number here, with the dual table. Now let's run it and let's see what result it's going to give me. Because you remember, the mod function finds the remainder of the first argument divided by the second argument. So salary is divided by 5,000. Okay, so if you see, salary of Tucker is divided 10,000 is divided by 5,000. Quotient is 2, remainder is 0. Okay, 9,500. Okay, it is divided by 5,000. Just one time it will go, and then the remainder will be 4,500. Similarly, and it will go on like this. Again, king is 10,000 and so on. Okay, so like that. Anyone has any questions here?
Oh, okay.
All right, sounds good. So these are the functions, the numeric function. Now let's see what next functions. Now working with dates. Okay, dates are also very, very important, because we deal with dates lot of the time. Okay, lot of the times we deal with dates. What is the when did the project start, when did the project end, what was the hire date, when did the account got what was the balance before this date, what was the balance after this date, what was the balance between first quarter and the second quarter, what was the balance between January and September and October or whatever, right? So we plays with the date all the time, right? Now the default display and input format for any date is ddmonRR. What is ddmonRR? It is a format. It is saying dd means 2 digits of the date. Okay, so today is 10th, so it will say 10th, 2 digits of the date, then dash, then mon. When I'm saying mon, mon, so what it will do is it will use the 3 letters of the month. Okay, 3 letters of the month. So that's why today is October, it will say OCT. Okay, then it will say RR. Okay, and we'll see what RR is in the next slide. Okay, so the thing here is that the dates are not stored in the database in this format. Okay, usually the dates are stored in the format where it will say, like today is October 10th, it will be stored as October, like the full month, October space 10 comma 2019 comma. Okay, it's not yet ended here. Okay, the date is finished, but it's not ended here. It will say comma, and then it will have hours, minutes, and time, and seconds, and then it will also have PM and AM. This is how the dates are stored in any database. Okay, so when I'm saying the data is stored, for example, today's date, it will be stored something like this. It will say October, okay, and then it will say 10 comma 2019 comma, and then right now it's 820, so it will say 08 colon 20 colon whatever number of seconds, 43 space PM. Okay, this is how the date is stored in the database. Okay, now we are saying give me only ddmon rr. Okay, do not give me this timestamp. I don't care about this timestamp. So it will give me, it will first of all truncate the timestamp, and then it will give me only the ddmon rr, which is 10. Okay, oct comma and then 19. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is what it does. Now we'll see in the next screen how the RR function works. But before we do that, we have the query here. Select last name comma hire date from employees where hire date is less than 01 Feb 88. Okay, and then because I'm saying 01 Feb 88, so all those who were hired before this date will be shown up in the in my query. Okay, now what is the RR format? Okay, now RR format, what does it do? The RR date format is similar to the YY format. I can have ddmon RR or ddmon YY. Okay, so it is similar to YY format. Now I have a comparison here between both RR and the YY format. So the the RR for date format is similar to the YY format, but you can use it to specify different centuries. You use the RR date format element instead of the YY, so that the century of the returned value varies according to the specified 2-digit year, right? So for example, if the current year is 1995 and you said the specified date is 27 Oct 95. Okay, so current year is also 95 and the specified date is 27 OCT 95, and I am using DD mon RR format. In that case, it will show me 95. If I'm using YY format, then also it will show me 95, right? If the current year is 1995, the specified date is 27 oct 17 17. Okay, in the RR format, it will go to the next century because it will think, because I'm already in 1995, and when I'm already in 1995 and if I'm referencing 17, the 2-digit 17, then the SQL will think that I'm talking for the next the next 17, the next century. Okay, why? Because this is more closer, 17 is more closer than for the next century 2017, then 1917, right? Because I'm already in 1995, so if I have to if I have to choose 17, then I have to go back what 60 70 years back, right? But if I am doing 17 and if I'm going to referencing 2017, then I'm doing just what 17 plus 22 years, right? So it always thinks, if I'm using RR format, it always takes the whatever is the closest. So here it thinks, okay, you are referencing, you probably meant to reference the next century, so that's why it's saying 2017. But in YY format, it doesn't matter. YY format will say, oh no, you consider 1917 only, I don't care. Okay, so you meant this year, whatever this year, this century is 19, and then I'm going to reference it to 1917. Similarly, if you are in 2001 and you are specifying the date as 27 October 17, then in the RR format it will consider as 2017, and in the YY also 2017. Because why 2017? Because in RR format it will not go to the next century, right? Because whatever is closer, so as I said, whatever is closer is this century only to 17. What was the previous century? If I had to go to previous century, it will have to go up to 75 years or whatever number, 70 years back. So why even go that far? So whatever is the nearest, so it's going to make it 2017. In the YY it doesn't change at all, it just says whatever is the current century, I'm just going to put that century, so 2017. But if it was 2001, the current year, and you are referencing 1995, in RR format, it will go back. Whatever is the closer, so it will go back. Okay, because closer is the previous century, so it will make 1995, and in YY format, it will make it 2095. So that is the only difference between RR format and the YY format. Do you guys have any questions here? Okay, no questions, then we'll move forward. Okay. Now, there is a sysdate function. Okay, so what sysdate does is, and we use this very often, okay, what sysdate function does is, it gives me the current date, whatever today's date is. Okay, and I do not have to pass any argument. It does not need any argument. Okay, I can just run it like this sysdate, like just like a column. Okay, so for example, here I can say sysdate, okay, and then just run it. Okay, and it gives me today's date, which is, oh sorry, it was not 10th October, I'm sorry, it was 7th October 19. Why it is giving me 7th October? Today is just 6th, right? But it is still giving me 7th October 19. Do you know why it is giving me 7th October 19? It is giving me 7th October 19 based on the time zone. Okay, this SQL live SQL.oracle, probably the time zone of this is somewhere in Asia Pacific. Okay, so the server is somewhere in Asia Pacific. So because in Asia Pacific it is already next day there. We are still one day behind, but in Asia Pacific it is already next day, or maybe in Australia somewhere. This server. So it's bringing me the, not my computer date, but it is bringing me the server date wherever the server is. Okay, and the server is in Asia Pacific, wherever this website is running from, wherever, whatever server. So it's giving me that date. So that's why it's giving me 7th October 19. Okay, so sys date is like that. Now, what I can do is, let's say I want to see how many of my employees were hired. Um, let's say in last 10 years. Okay, how many employees my employees were hired in last 10 years. So very simple, what I'm going to do is less than, okay, sys date minus minus 10 years. I have to do the 10 years, right? But if I do minus 10, it will not work because we haven't learned it. But let's say I want to know how many of my employees were hired. If I say sysdate, it's going to give me all of them because all of them were hired prior to today's date, right? Let's say, I don't know how to do. We don't have a query. We don't have a query here, but we'll learn it later because I don't want to confuse you guys if I say minus 10 or something here. Okay, because when I say minus 10, it's going to minus the months, that many months, okay, with the sys date. And there is a different way of doing it for the years. We can say minus years and it will do that. But I don't want to confuse you guys. So let's say how many employees were hired, um, not today but previous to today. So it's going to bring me everything, but I can do that. All I wanted to show you guys that is that I can use this sysdate function in my anywhere. Basically, if this sysdate function is available and I can use it anywhere, I can use it in the where clause, except from clause of course, because from clause takes only tables. So where clause I can use it, I can use it in the select clause, okay, and I can even use it in the order by clause. Okay, so that's a very good function that I have, and I very often use it in my reports, with the lot of calculations we do using the sysdate. Okay, all right, now let's do the now this is what I was referring to, arithmetic with dates. Okay, we do lot of arithmetics with dates because dates are very important. Okay, and we do lot of arithmetics with dates. Uh, uh, we do subtraction of two dates. Okay, we find out that this date, this is when the project started, this is when the project ended. So end date minus start date, what is the duration of my project, like that. If we can find out the duration of the project, we can add dates. Okay, so for example, this is when the dates, when the project was started, and this is when the project ended. So I can or this is when the project will end, uh, the number of the project duration, the number of months or whatever, and then I can add these two, and then I can make a different date. Okay, so a lot of different arithmetic calculations we can do with the dates. So as I mentioned here, add or subtract a number to or from a date for a resultant date value. It will give you a date value only. Okay, if you are doing a date, anything that you are doing with date, it will always give you a date, unless you are subtracting two dates, then it will give you the months. Okay, so add or subtract a number from or to a date will always give you a date. Subtract two dates to find out the number of days between two dates. Add hours to a date by dividing the number of hours by 24, so we can find out the number of hours also. I mean, we don't do that very often, but we can do this. So a lot of different arithmetic calculations we can do. So here, for example, let's run this. Okay, let's find out what I'm trying to achieve and what it's giving me. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am doing an arithmetic calculation on my date. Okay, so what I'm saying is, give me the list of all the employees who are in department 90, only 90, and with their last name, and from today's onwards how many weeks they have been with the company. Okay, how many weeks they have been with the company. So how many weeks? Of course I have to do this, right? I have to do this. I have to find out how many days they are with the company, right? How many days they are with the company right now. So if I do this, it will give me these many number of days they are with the company. Okay, because I am doing sys date, which is today's date, minus higher date, how many days they are with the company. So they, when did they join? They joined on the higher date, and today's date is sys date. So sys date minus higher date, this will give me the number of days that they have been working with this company with me. Okay, and then let's say if I want to do it by week, then I will divide by 7. This will give me by week. Oops, I have to see again, same thing. I have to do like this. Okay, I have to put the bracket there. Why I have to put the bracket there? Because if I say divide by 7 here without the bracket, then what I'm saying is, what it will do is, it will take this first, based on BODMAS concept. It will use this, right, higher underscore date and divide by 7. Now, how can date be divided by 7? Date cannot be divided by 7, right? You cannot divide a date by 7 to find out something. So date cannot be divided by 7, that's why it's giving me an error. So but that's what not my intention was, in fact. So my intention was that whatever number of uh, days that I was getting, I want to divide that whole thing by 7 to get the number of weeks. So this is giving me number of weeks, right? Now I can change it to number of months also by divide by 30. So this will give me number of months. Now I can change it to number of years by divide by 365 on a rough figure. So this will give me the number of years. Like, this particular king guy has been working with me for past 32 years, right? Similarly, all of them have been working with me for 30 years, whatever, right? And then I can give them the alias, since years since in the company, right? Years since in the company. And it gives me the alias as well. All right. Okay, so this is for the arithmetic operations. Now we have all of these functions, okay, for the arithmetic operations with the dates. Okay, we have months underscore between, and when I'm saying months underscore between, I have to pass two dates for the months underscore between, and it will give me the number of months between the two dates. Okay, the number of months between the two days. Now I could have divided, what I did was I just divided it by 30 right here to get the number of months, but that was a rough figure because some months are 31 days, some months have 30 days, some months have 29 days, but it will give me a rough figure about 393 months, right? I could have also used months underscore between, months underscore between, and that way I don't have to give minus, and I'll just say months, right? Months underscore between sys date comma higher date, and this will give me 387. Now see, there is a difference. Earlier it was giving me 383, right? Now it is giving me 387. So this is the exact figure. Okay, 387 months underscore between. Next is add underscore months. Now I can add months to a certain date. Okay, so I say add underscore months. Let's say I want to add number of months to a higher date, so I add 10 months to a higher date. Okay, and I can say months added here as the um, okay, and then it added whatever higher date I had was higher date, higher underscore date comma. Okay, and it just added 10 months to that higher date. So see, 17 June, it added 10 months there. Okay, so that's the add underscore months. Next day, it can give me the next day of a particular date. Okay, so let's say I'm going to use this next day of, let's say I just want to use it for sys day because that makes it easy, right? What will be the next day? Okay, okay, and this one is, okay, this one will not take days. One, let's, we'll give some name, and this one is next day. So next underscore day. Okay, let's put next underscore day here. Next underscore day of, next underscore day of sys date. Okay, it's not taking the sys date because I did not do a trunk of sys date. So let's give the exact date. So for example, today is 006 October 19. It's still giving me the argument, the error, because we don't use the next day that often. Even I don't remember what the, let's find out what the next day syntax is. So next day syntax is that you will give the next day, when is the next Tuesday. Okay, so this is what it's giving me. When is the, let's say from this day, when is the next let's say I want to find out Wednesday. Wednesday. Okay, so today is 6th October and next Wednesday will be on 9th October. Okay, so that's how it is giving me next day. See, months between and add underscore months are important. Next day and last day is not that important. Even if you don't remember, it's fine. I don't use next day. I haven't used next day for a very long time, and last day also I haven't used. But last day is also like, when was the last day from this date, the last Wednesday. So that way it will give me the last day. Last day is also something different, so I haven't used it that also, but we'll figure it out. Okay, last day is giving me some number there. Let's find out. Yeah, so it's giving me last day of this month, basically, whatever this month is. Anyway, so we don't use this because everybody knows what the last day of the month is. So next day and last day we don't use, but round, we use round very often in dates. uh, it rounds the date. Okay, so for example, if your date is um, let's say you have a time stamp also in the date, right? Let's say you put a time stamp there and you want to round it, right? So if it's already after 12 p.m., right, it will round it to the next day. Similarly for the trunk, what it does is, if you are giving the time stamp and you don't want the time stamp, then it will trunk that time stamp. So let's see that. Okay, we do that very often. Okay, so trunk and round is very important. The next day and first day is not that important. Next day and last day. Okay, trunk of, let's say today is 06 October 2019. I can give 2019 also, or I can give 19 also, your choice. 19, and then after that I'm going to give the time. Okay, so today right now it's 8:40. Okay, and we are going to close this after this. Okay, 8:40, and then I have 8:40, and then I have minutes, let's say 20 minutes or whatever, 20 seconds or whatever, and then I have PM. Okay, so this is my full date. Okay, now I'm going to truncating it. So I'm saying trunk of this, and then it says invalid number. That's interesting.
Is the comma missing after the date, maybe?
Uh, yeah, this one here. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so that this is missing. We'll have to find out the syntax, what the exact syntax is. Oh, okay. It's expecting another argument like that. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, I got it. Why it's doing that? I have to convert this into. Okay, we didn't learn this. Okay, we didn't learn this anyway. To underscore date. So let's not do that. Yeah, I think I need a break. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So trunk date actually it's going to truncate the time. It's going to truncate the time, and that's what we were doing here. We were trying to truncate the time. Okay, with this one, we were trying to truncate this time. Okay, and because this is a character, I even tried putting as a to underscore date function here. Okay, but that also didn't work. For this one, let's try it one more time. Probably I did it wrong. It was a long day for me anyway, but let's see. Yeah, it didn't work. So we'll come back on this. Okay, we'll start from here. Okay, so from next week Tuesday, we'll start from the trunk of this, which is 73, and we'll go back with all of these. Okay, months between and add months and next and last, round and trunk. Okay, we'll do with all of these, and we'll start from there. We'll end the session today. We are already past what 10 minutes more, and then after that we'll do the data type conversion functions, the to underscore date, which I just now did. We'll do that also, and some of the other character function, some of the other data type conversion function. These are very important. We always do these, especially in case of date. Okay, because date gives a lot of issues with SQL, because sometimes it's in a character, sometimes it's in a day, in a date data type. So we always change the character to date, date to character. Number format does not give us that much problem, but still we do that sometimes. So we'll do that, all of this, and then we'll do the nesting function and coalesce. Okay, so we'll do all of this in the next class. And guys, if you haven't completed the practice for day 2, so then complete your practice for day 2. For day 3, we'll do the I will not give any practice for day 3 because we haven't completed it, and it's a very big topic, so it will take time. And I don't want to give you the exercise where there are some questions for with some other topic that we haven't discussed, and then you'll get more confused. So let's not I'll not going to give you anything. So Monday and Tuesday, Monday and whole day Tuesday, work on practice 2. And if you have any questions, then you can reach out to me. All right.
All right. Thank
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Emmanuel, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we'll stop it here and let me know if you have any questions.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good evening. Good night.
Good night.
you. Good night. Bye.
Bye.